I look at the reflection in our hallway mirror and see a woman who has it all. My name is Elena, and for 7 years, I believed I was living the blueprint of a perfect life. My husband, Julian, is a successful architect with a smile that still makes my heart skip a beat. We have the designer kitchen, the manicured lawn, and a calendar full of charity galas. Everyone in our circle calls us the golden couple. Julian leans against the doorframe, adjusting his silk tie. He looks at me with such warmth that I feel guilty for even having a bad dream the night before. He kisses my forehead, his scent of sandalwood and expensive espresso lingering on my skin. He tells me I'm beautiful. He tells me he's lucky. He tells me everything a woman is supposed to hear to feel secure. But there is a silence in our house that shouldn't be there. It's the sound of things unsaid. Julian is attentive, yes, but he's also increasingly protective of his phone. He works late, claiming the new museum project is draining his soul. I support him. I make the late-night tea. I rub his shoulders. I am the perfect wife because that is the role I've written for myself. I trust him. That is the foundation of everything. When friends whisper about husbands who stray or secret bank accounts, I laugh. Not Julian. He's the man who cried at our wedding. He's the man who sends flowers to my office just because it's Tuesday. We are different. We are the exception to the rule of modern heartbreak. Then, the first crack appears. It's small, almost invisible. I'm sitting at our shared home office desk, looking for a misplaced tax document. I click on a folder labeled Personal Expenses that isn't password protected. My finger hovers over the mouse. I shouldn't look. Trust doesn't verify. But something in my gut, that primal female instinct, screams at me to click. I see the transfers. $5,000, $3,000, monthly installments stretching back over a year, all sent to an account registered to a Maya V. My breath hitches. We don't have a Maya in our lives. I feel a cold sweat break across my neck. My heart hammers against my ribs like a trapped bird. That was the moment everything changed. I stare at the screen until the numbers blur into red stains. Who is Maya? Why is my husband, the man who tells me we need to save for our future, sending a small fortune to a stranger? I close the laptop, my hands shaking so hard I have to tuck them under my thighs. I tell myself there's a logical explanation. There has to be. When Julian comes home, he's carrying a bag of my favorite pastries. He laughs at a joke I didn't hear. I watch him move through the kitchen, and for the first time, he looks like a stranger. The man I love is a facade. The real Julian is the one who hides five-figure sums from his wife. I swallow the lump in my throat and smile back, but the golden couple is already starting to tarnish. The confrontation happens 3 days later. I wait until we are finishing dinner, the clink of silverware against porcelain sounding like a ticking clock. I ask him casually, Julian, who is Maya? The glass in his hand pauses halfway to his lips. His eyes flicker, a millisecond of panic, before his face smooths into a mask of calm. She's my sister, Elena, he says, his voice steady. I thought I told you about her. I stare at him, stunned. Julian is an only child. His parents passed away years ago, leaving him everything. I've seen the family photos. I've visited the graves. There was never a mention of a sister. You don't have a sister, I whisper. He sighs, putting the glass down. He looks at me with a mixture of pity and frustration. He tells me a story about a family secret, an illegitimate child his father had before he was born. He says he found her a year ago. He says she's struggling, living in a rundown apartment across the city, trying to put herself through nursing school. I didn't want to burden you, he says, reaching for my hand. I felt ashamed of my father's choices. I just wanted to do the right thing and help my own blood. He sounds so sincere. He sounds like a hero. I want to believe him so badly that it aches. I want to believe that his secrecy was an act of nobility, not a betrayal. But the lies feel like a heavy blanket over my head. If she's family, why haven't I met her? Why keep her in the shadows? He tells me she's shy, that she's embarrassed by her situation. He promises that one day, when she's back on her feet, we'll all have dinner. He kisses my hand and tells me he loves my big heart. I spend the next week trying to settle my mind. I try to be the supportive wife of a man helping his long-lost sister. But the numbers don't add up. Why does a struggling student need $8,000 in a single month? Why does Julian take private calls in the garage at midnight? I feel invisible in my own marriage, a spectator to a life he's living without me. The betrayal isn't just the money. It's the way he looks me in the eye and spins a web of such intricate beauty that I almost feel honored to be caught in it. He makes me feel like the crazy one for questioning him. He gaslights me with a smile. Every time I bring it up, he turns it back on my lack of trust. He makes his deception look like my character flaw. I realize then that I am living with a master manipulator. He has spent a year building a parallel universe where I don't exist. I am the wife who provides the social status and the stable home, while Maya is what? I don't know yet. But the sister story is a poison that is slowly killing the woman I used to be. I am no longer a wife. I am an investigator in my own home. The emotional collapse comes on a rainy Tuesday. I find a receipt in his coat pocket for a jewelry store. It's not for a necklace or a pair of earrings I've ever seen. It's for a diamond bracelet. $10,000. My breath leaves me in a sharp gasp. I check my own wrists. Empty. I check my jewelry box. Nothing new. I sit on the floor of our walk-in closet, surrounded by his expensive suits, and I sob. I cry for the 7 years I gave him. I cry for the children we planned to have. I cry because I realize that the man I married never actually existed. He is a collection of lies held together by starch and charisma. I feel small. I feel discarded. I am the woman who stayed home and built a sanctuary for a man who was building a life with someone else. I trusted them. I trusted him with my soul, and he used it as a floor mat. I look at the rows of shoes, the designer bags, the symbols of our perfect life, and I want to scream until the windows shatter. How could he? The question loops in my brain like a broken record. How could he look at me every morning and then go buy diamonds for another woman? Is she younger? Is she more exciting? Or does he just enjoy the thrill of the double life? I feel like a ghost haunting my own house. I walk through the rooms and see only the theater of our marriage. When Julian comes home that night, he finds me in bed with the lights off. He asks if I'm okay. I tell him I have a migraine. He offers to get me water, his voice dripping with faux concern. I watch him through slit eyes. He is so good at this. He should have been an actor. He plays the role of the doting husband while the receipt for another woman's jewelry sits in his pocket. I realize I can't stay in this state of collapse. If I stay here, I will disappear. He wants me broken. He wants me quiet. He wants me to be the sister who never asks questions. But something inside me, a tiny spark of the woman I was before I met him, begins to flicker. I don't want to be a victim anymore. I want the truth, even if it burns the house down. I decide to stop crying. I dry my eyes and start a new folder on my laptop. This one is encrypted. I start documenting everything, every transfer, every late night, every suspicious receipt. I am no longer the grieving wife. I am a woman with a mission. He thinks I won't fight back because I've always been the peacemaker. He thinks my love is a leash. He is wrong. I start my own investigation. I don't need a private eye. I have his passwords and his vanity. Julian thinks he's smarter than me, which is his greatest mistake. I track the GPS on our shared car account. I see the frequent stops at a high-end apartment complex downtown. It's a place where the rent costs more than most people make in a year. Some struggling student. I spend hours digging through social media. I look for Maya V. I find nothing at first. Then I try different variations. Finally, I find her. Maya Valente. She's beautiful. She's 24. And her Instagram is a gallery of my husband's money. There she is in the Maldives. There she is wearing the diamond bracelet. There she is in a dress that cost more than my first car. The sister story is a lie so bold, it's almost impressive. She isn't his sister. She's his masterpiece. He's been funding a luxury lifestyle for a girl half his age while telling me we need to be careful with the grocery budget. I feel a cold, hard resolve settle in my chest. The pain is still there, but it's being replaced by something sharper, something dangerous. I find her address. It's a penthouse suite. I sit in my car outside her building for 3 hours, watching the entrance. I see him. I see my husband pull up in his silver sedan, a bouquet of lilies in his hand. My favorite flowers. He walks into the building like he owns it. He doesn't look around. He's confident. He's home. I feel a strange sense of clarity. The mystery is gone. The golden couple is dead. I realize that I have been subsidizing his affair. My career, my contributions to our joint accounts, my labor in keeping our home, it all freed up his money to spend on her. I have been his unwitting accomplice in my own betrayal. I don't go upstairs. Not yet. I need to know more. I need to know if she knows about me. Is she a victim of his lies too? Or is she laughing at the boring wife while she sips champagne on my dime? I start a shadow account on Instagram and strike up a conversation with her through a fake boutique profile. I offer her a collaboration. She bites immediately. She's vain and hungry for attention. We set up a meeting at a posh cafe near her apartment. She thinks she's meeting a brand representative. She has no idea she's meeting the woman whose life she's been cannibalizing. I dress in my most expensive power suit. I do my makeup like it's war paint. As I drive to the cafe, I feel a surge of adrenaline. They thought I wouldn't fight back. They thought I would just fade away into a quiet divorce and a modest settlement. They have no idea who they are dealing with. I am not just a wife. I am the one who built the foundation he's standing on, and I'm about to pull the rug out from under him. I arrive at the cafe early. I choose a table in the back, shadowed but with a clear view of the door. I order a black coffee. I wait. Every second feels like an hour. I wonder if I'll lose my nerve. I wonder if I'll throw the coffee in her face. But no, I need to be strategic. I need to be the predator, not the prey. When Maya walks in, the room seems to brighten. She has that effortless glow of someone who has never had to worry about a bill in her life. She's wearing a designer trench coat and carrying a bag that costs $5,000. She looks around, her eyes landing on me. She smiles. It's a bright, innocent smile that makes my skin crawl. "Are you Elena from the boutique?" she asks, sitting down. Her voice is high and melodic. "I am Elena," I say, my voice dropping an octave. I don't correct her about the boutique. I just look at her. Up close, she looks even younger. She looks like someone who believes the world is a playground. We talk for 10 minutes about fashion and influence. I let her brag. She tells me about her boyfriend, a wealthy architect who treats her like a queen. She says he's in a loveless marriage with a woman who doesn't understand him. She says they are planning to move to Europe next year, once the legal stuff is handled. My heart is a block of ice. A loveless marriage. I repeat. Yeah, she giggles, leaning in. He says she's more like a sister to him now. No passion. He stays for the appearances, you know? But he's saving up to give me the life I deserve. A sister. He told her I was his sister. The irony is so thick I can taste it. He used the same lie for both of us, just swapped the roles. I see, I say, opening my bag. I pull out a wedding photo. It's the one from our 5th anniversary. We look so happy. Julian is holding me like I'm the only thing that matters. I slide it across the table. Maya's smile falters. She looks at the photo, then at me, then back at the photo. "Who is this?" she whispers, her face turning pale. "That's my husband," I say. "The man who pays your rent. The man who bought you that bracelet. And the woman he's holding? That's not his sister, Maya. That's his wife. The woman who actually owns the bank account those transfers come from." The silence at the table is deafening. Maya looks like she's about to faint. She starts stammering, saying she didn't know that he told her he was divorced, that he told her I was family in a different way. I don't care about her excuses. I see the terror in her eyes, and for the first time in months, I feel powerful. "I'm not here to yell at you," I say, leaning forward. "I'm here to give you an opportunity. Julian has been lying to both of us. He's been using my money to buy your loyalty. But the money is gone, Maya. I've frozen the accounts. The lease on your apartment, it's in his company name, and I'm a 50% shareholder. I can end this today." She starts to cry, real tears this time. She's realized her golden goose is cooked. I feel a flicker of pity, but I extinguish it. She lived off my life for a year. She doesn't get my sympathy. I tell her exactly what I want her to do. I tell her that if she wants to avoid a massive lawsuit for fraud, she's going to help me give Julian the homecoming he deserves. I spend the next 48 hours in a state of hyperfocus. I work with a lawyer I've known since college, someone Julian doesn't suspect. We move fast. I transfer what's left of my personal assets. I gather the evidence of his embezzlement from our joint business. I prepare the documents for a divorce that will leave him with nothing but his silk ties and his lies. I feel a strange sense of peace. The golden couple is a memory now. The woman who was afraid to check the bank statements is gone. I am calculating, cold, and ready. I realize that the peace I had before was just a lack of information. This fire is what reality feels like. I am finally awake. Julian calls me, sounding cheerful. He says he'll be home late again. I tell him that's fine. I tell him I have a surprise for him when he gets back. He laughs, his voice full of that easy practice charm. "I love surprises, honey," he says. I smile into the phone. "I know you do, Julian. I know you do." The stage is set. I've invited our closest friends and business partners to a surprise anniversary dinner at our home. Julian thinks it's just the two of us. He thinks he's coming home to a quiet night and a gullible wife. He has no idea that his entire world is about to be put on display for everyone to see. I walk through the house, lighting candles. It looks beautiful. It looks like the sanctuary I spent years building. But tonight, it's not a home. It's a courtroom. And I am the judge, the jury, and the executioner. I check my watch. 7 o'clock. The guests are hidden in the dining room. Maya is waiting in the guest house. I hear his car pull into the driveway. My heart rate doesn't even speed up. I am ready. I stand in the center of the living room, a glass of champagne in my hand. I hear the key in the lock. I hear his whistle. He walks in, dropping his briefcase, looking for me. "Elena," he calls out. "Where are you?" I step into the light. "I'm right here, Julian. Happy anniversary." He looks confused. "Our anniversary isn't for 3 months. "Oh, I know," I say, gesturing to the dining room. But I couldn't wait to celebrate the end of our marriage. The guests walk out. Our business partners, our neighbors, the people whose respect Julian craves more than anything. Their faces are grim. They've already seen the dossiers I left for them. They know about the sister. They know about the stolen funds. Julian freezes. His face goes through 5 different stages of terror in 5 seconds. Elena, what is this? What are you doing? He hisses, trying to maintain his composure. I'm introducing you to your family, Julian. I say. I nod to the side door. Maya walks in. She's wearing the diamond bracelet. She looks at Julian with a mixture of hatred and shame. The room is silent. The golden couple has finally shattered into 1,000 jagged pieces. Julian tries to speak, but no words come out. He looks at his partners, then at Maya, then at me. He sees the divorce papers sitting on the coffee table. He sees the end of his reputation, his wealth, and his carefully constructed fantasy. You did this? He stammers. No, Julian, I say, taking a sip of my champagne. You did this. I just turned on the lights. The revelation is total. His business partners inform him right there that he is being ousted for financial misconduct. Our friends turn their backs. Maya walks over, takes off the bracelet, and drops it on the floor at his feet. She walks out without a word. Julian falls to his knees. He tries to grab my hand, to beg, to use that charm one last time. I step back. He looks small. He looks pathetic. I realize I don't even hate him anymore. I just feel nothing. He is a ghost in a suit. Get out, I say. My voice is calm, but it has the weight of a mountain. The locks have already been changed. Your things are in the garage. My lawyer will handle the rest. He looks around the room, realization finally sinking in. He has lost everything. He has no wife, no mistress, no career, and no sister. He is alone in the ruins of his own making. As he leaves, escorted by the cold stares of the people he tried to impress, I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. The house feels bigger. The air feels cleaner. I look at my reflection in the hallway mirror again. I don't see the golden couple anymore. I see a woman who is whole. I see a survivor. The path ahead is uncertain. There will be legal battles and lonely nights. But for the first time in years, I am not invisible. I am not a character in someone else's play. I am the author of my own life. I realized that the life I was so afraid to lose was actually the cage that was keeping me from breathing. Sometimes losing your family is the price of finding yourself.